Shabbos. We just went through the holiday of Purim, and the Torah reading is something that is shocking and at the same time requires study. And that is the story of the golden calf. The shocking part of it is that people who heard from God some 40 days earlier should suddenly decide that they're better off worshiping a golden calf. Now, what exactly happened was that Moses, who was supposed to come after 40 days, came on the 41st day. They erred in their calculations, and they thought that he was coming on the 40th day, when he's supposed to be coming 40 24-hour periods later, on the 41st. And so, since he did not come in time, and no man had ever gone up on a mountain and not eaten or drank for 40 consecutive days, it was assumed that Moses was no longer alive. Now, Moses is no longer alive. What are they supposed to do? They just got out of Egypt. They have no leadership. So you would say, well, wait a second. Aren't there other people that Moses has left for them to consult with? There was Aaron, and there was Hur, or Hur in Hebrew. Aaron was Moses' brother. Hur was Moses' nephew, the son of Miriam. Why weren't they sufficient for leadership? One of the answers is that when people are used to a charismatic leader, ordinary people don't suffice. And since ordinary people don't suffice, they look for something exotic and different. But here, what's exotic about a golden calf? Well, the golden calf was able to move around. It was not a mechanized golden calf. It seemed to have a life of its own, supposedly ate. So how would you not be impressed with the golden calf? Now, let's even say that the golden calf was just like any other golden calf. What was the draw that drew the people to serving something that appears to us as so silly? We all understand the limits of an icon. I know that there's movies that are written about icons in the middle of the South Pacific, how they have these incredible powers. They've got these angry eyes and they cause death through their curses. And we all know it's a lot of baloney. Why would an intelligent group of people who had seen the power of God, of the creator of the universe, why would they go ahead and worship a meaningless statue? The answer is, of course, the statue was not meaningless. It wasn't the statue that they worshipped. The statue was symbolic of something else. What did it symbolize? So there are different levels of idolatry. Let's go through them. There are three that I know of. Number one level of idolatry is to believe that there are other forces in this universe that have a semblance of independent power. Not that they're really independent, but they are given dominion by the Creator to oversee certain aspects of the world. The ancient world saw the sun and the moon and the planets, and the zodiac, they saw the influence. They were able to track the influence that these things had over their lives. And therefore they thought that God had made these celestial beings as his officials, just like a king has got generals, and under the generals there are colonels and there are majors and there are captains and lieutenants and sergeants, and then there's the corporals and the foot soldiers. So too in the world there are higher and higher officials. There are angels, there are archangels and regular angels and lower level angels, and finally they get to the forces within nature and the zodiac and the various stars and the planets, each one of them having their own dominion, their own effect upon what goes on here on earth. God has given them their power. And so they thought if God gave them power, these are like captains or majors in the army that the king has deferred to, has given them their control, but the king can always override them. So God could override, the Creator could override what the sun and the moon decided. But they thought, the ancient world thought, that God has got helpers who have their own decision-making process. And it's only that God can intervene and negate their decisions, but they have their own abilities to decide. Level number 2. God has partners. What are partners? How are they different from underlings? Though the partners are not partners that have their own independence, but they can initiate processes, and those processes have to be validated by the main partner, which is God. Just like parents initiate the process of the birth of a child, but you need God's validation. Two parents could be perfectly healthy. Something happens and God does not allow those parents to have children. Of course, you say there must be some reason. There might be no physical reason. There may be no reason in the world. Just God decided that they're not going to have children together. That's the idea of a partnership. The partner has an ability to initiate a process, and God has got to validate that process. That's also idolatry. The third level of idolatry is much, much more subtle. And this is the idea of the channel. The channel or the system. The people of Israel, according to this way of thinking, never had in mind any kind of icons, idols. Rather, they looked up into the heavens and they saw an angel that had 4 faces. And they inquired, why do those angels have 4 faces? And they were told, each one of these 4 faces is a different channel for a different energy process that we receive. To the right side of the angel is the face of the lion. To the left side is the face of the ox. The lion and the ox represent chesed and gvura. The lion represents love and power, and the ox represents action and livelihood. Parnose, judgment. If you follow the path of judgment, if you follow the path of discipline and do what you're supposed to do, and go out every day and hustle every day, you'll have your parnasa.